What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, I got kind of like a weird one for you. I don't know if I've ever quite played a strategy sandbox exactly like this game, but these developers have released a vertical slice demo of their game to promote the Kickstarter that they currently have running. Now, I waited actually to make this video until the game was already kind of funded on Kickstarter, because I personally am not a big believer in Kickstarter. I've just been burned too many times over the last 10 years or so, showing off Kickstarter stuff and then like it just fails to launch or whatever else. But this one, I conveniently lucked out because the game's already funded, so my video doesn't matter at this point. But I did want to take a look at the demo of it here today because it's a weird little grand strategy RPG, but it runs in real time, and so it almost plays a little bit, not like quite like Hearts of Iron, but a little bit similarly. Like, I can smell influences here. I've played the game for about 2 hours, and I can smell the influences here of something like Heroes of Might and Magic. There's definitely like some Rome Total War in there. Like, there's a lot of weird little influences in this game, and you'll see what I mean once we actually get into the gameplay proper, because this is a game that doesn't have like a push pause or anything else. The map is running while you're playing the game, which means you kind of need to be proactive, but at the same time, a lot of the systems encompassed by this game are very clearly from turn-based games, and I think that's an interesting thing. It's novel. I like it when developers take a swack at something that I've never seen before, and so I'm rewarding this one with a video here today. I didn't find the tutorials, I found the tutorials to be really, really dry, I guess, and so I figured it out just by trial and error over the last hour or so, but there will be things that I don't understand. There will be things that are unexplained. We'll try to work through them together, but if after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description where you can check the game out. And then on top of that, you can also take a look down there if you wanted to find a bunch of other Nerd Castle links, which are holding it down for the Nerd Castle set and hopefully making us a presence on the block. But let's go ahead and start the game off. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play on single player here. I'll probably have us have less than 6 players because that's a pretty chaotic game where we're going to be getting hit from every angle, and I just do not have the real-time skills for that. We'll put it on maybe like 4 players. That sounds all right. It depends how much they aggro on each other, or if this is one of those games where they just like bully the player nonstop. I've only played 2-player games so far, but to keep it interesting, we'll throw it all together. And then we're going to go ahead and start the game off, and the first thing that we've got to do is we've got to create our icon, we've got to create our elder, we've got to create our spec when it comes to magic. These are different races of people, basically, or like different planes, I guess, with different races living on them. You can spec into them in order to give yourself access to different types of magic, because in this game you're effectively the avatar of a god trying to conquer this plane that's being shattered and falling apart, as tends to happen inside fantasy universes where there's lots of war and bloodshed. You do get to pick 2 guys, though, that are going to be the avatars of your reign. I'm going to go with this guy right here because he is mankind, and I always like the human armies for some reason. I don't know, the human armies are almost always the most compelling to me, and then there's other armies that we can pick from over here. We have the avatars of wood. The Woodar are apparently like assassins, where they get like a special round at the beginning of combat where they get to inflict casualties. We've also got the Aral over here. They get a free ranged attack when combat kicks off and you go into like skirmishing phase. And then you've got the Had over here, the Hadars. These guys right here, well, they're kind of like a magical army, basically. I'll probably go with the demons because I like them, but we need to respec some stuff. I don't want all these arrow points. Do you get those arrow points out of there? And give me like a lot more points in demons, because that's what we're going to be focusing on. We've got 3. Let's just put these down on level 1, and then we'll boost these up like as high as we can get them. There we go, dude. So we're like mankind with a pretty strong specialty. I guess we're demons at this point. We got more points in demons than we do in mankind. All right, well, we're a demonology army that has like mankind backing us, because that's just how mankind rolls. I've crafted my battle flag, so let's go ahead and jump into the game proper. I'll just ready. It still makes you do like a multiplayer lobby. I get the feeling that this demo was basically something they just hacked together so that the Kickstarter would have some rough idea of how the game's going to play someday. But lots of menu work to be done in this game, lots of polishing work to be done. There's definitely like a cheapness that you can feel inside the menus that I'm hoping gets cleared up as the game moves towards a final like commercial release. But for right now, I'll just mention it and then move on. So welcome, potential Elder God. Here's how you can claim victory and become the most powerful Elder. Expand your empire and settlement, subdue the opposing Elder thrones by occupying them, and begin ascension with an Atre Lord. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the game off, and we'll just pause it real fast because, as I mentioned, this game is always running, and so you kind of want to capitalize on time. Let me explain to you the things that I have sussed out about how this game works. So basically, we have our throne. I'm pretty sure if we lose our throne, that is the end of our godhood and the enemy wins, and we're just like knocked off the map. However, there's no connecting tissue here, but these two outstanding colonies right here are actually directly connected to the throne, and everything that you do to these little villages that we own out here is going to be pipelined straight to the throne. So let's say, for example, I click on the throne, and I say that I want to raise an army, like I want to raise my levies. Well, the amount of levies that you raise are going to be directly impacted by how much population exists inside of these outlying territories, and also the little tiny villages that are attached to them. You can kind of think of these as just sort of slots for this city over here. The things that you build inside the villages will actually give modifiers to this city, which then transfers the modifiers into your throne when you do recruitment and other stuff like that. It took me a while to figure it all out. We also have our two armies over here. We have Avatar number 1, which is obviously not the greatest name you could ever have for this guy, but this is our army of mankind. He has 100 Menar right now, which are basically just like melee spearmen that follow him around the map. And then on this side, we also have our secondary avatar who has Hadar cores, which are basically berserkers that go in and fight with the enemy. What we really want to do at the beginning of the game is we want to start capturing these villages, because these villages are not intrinsically a part of our empire right now until we go and capture them. So that's going to eat up a big part of the early game for us, is just sending both of our armies over here to capture these villages. That way they're going to be pipelining their population into this city, which can then be pipelined into our throne, giving us a nice supply of just units that'll back us up. So we'll let the game run for right now, and as you can see, our armies have little guys that are following them around. There's not a whole lot of sophistication or anything to the battle system just yet. I would like to see a lot of the animations and things expanded out to give the characters a lot of personality, but for the moment, think of them as just kind of like game pieces moving around the map with a little bit of extra visual flair. So both of our armies have now arrived, and what you'll see is they're not actually fighting with these villages or anything. They're converting these villages, because in this game you are an elder god fighting for your domain over this realm. And so we're basically converting these guys. You can see every single civilization out here, or every single little city, they have a thing called influence. You need your influence inside of a territory to be above 60%. That way, or 70%, sorry. You need it to be above 70% in order for these to be added onto this guy right here. And once we do that, we actually have a number of options that we can participate in to build up these places and give bonuses to this city so that they'll give them to our throne. On top of that, this city right here also has an influence level. You can see 82% right there. Every time we raise levies, or every time we make decisions that are popular or unpopular, what may end up happening is this influence goes down, and if it goes down too low, these people rebel and they're no longer a part of our empire. And that's bad, because in this game, you are almost entirely judged by a number of stats called like omnipresence and some other things that are derived from the amount of population versus belief that you have. And so if you want to be up on the leaderboards and get a rough idea for how strong your army is, that's just going to have to be something that you figure out along the way, is keeping all these places loyal and on your side. So this village right here has been converted over to our faction. I'm going to take this army and I'm going to scout north for a minute while this guy cleans up and mops up on influencing this village and making it ours. He should be pretty close. Yeah, he's sitting on 69, which is nice. I'm going to move this guy up here. We're just going to see what's on this little island, like whether it's an enemy or what it might be. So it looks like it's a neutral faction over here. I will have him pick up some of the omnipresence and some of the mana while we're in this area, because we haven't talked about mana yet. So mana is this bulb, Diablo style, at the bottom center of your screen. It just fills up day over day. You can see your balance and how it adjusts right there as the days go by. And basically, mana is used for everything in this game. You're going to use mana to build up your settlements. You're going to use mana in order to cast spells on the battlefield, which are divided up into mankind, the Errol. We've also got the Hod, and we've got the Wood. And so we want to level this stuff up so that we have lots of magic spells that we can throw at the enemy, and you can do a lot of those magic spells while you're actively fighting with the foe, which means that there's kind of a wild card factor to this game as to who wins a fight. Like, you can go up and rock up on somebody with 1,000 units, and they can have 1,200 units, but if your magic is stronger than theirs, you're just going to be blasting the hell out of them with kind of celestial artillery fire that will even up those numbers pretty quickly, and more than likely they'll quit the field. Once I get these two places captured over here, we should be in decent shape to start looking at potential targets that we could capture or take out. We don't know exactly where the enemy's at right now, but the game map is pretty large with 4 players. I think what it does is it gives you 2 islands per player, effectively, so you get like 2 islands for yourself and then 2 extra islands along your border. So I'm guessing the bad guys are right here or right here would be my guess. There's probably a faction right there, but we're gonna have to like cruise around and kind of get sight lines on all these places before we find out. These villages captured very, very quickly, which is an incredibly good thing. That's going to make our lives a little bit easier. I'm going to let him get a little bit of a boosted bonus right there. I'm going to send this guy back to the throne because we're going to boost up his army a little bit and give him a few more units to play around with. This guy is going to kind of like run around and do maintenance for us, basically, and be our defense force. You can queue up marching orders by shift right-clicking on the map if you wanted them to go grab multiple little points of interest. He's picking up omnipresence, I think, right now, which has put us in the lead for the moment, but the AI kind of like mid-game tends to get a little bit stronger. How's our loyalty looking in all these settlements? 87%. Let's go ahead and recruit an army. It's going to cost us 500 mana, but we're going to get like 140 units split evenly between the 2 types of units that are a part of our hybrid culture. I'm going to march him up to the front gate, and then once we're at the front gate, I'm going to go into transfer mode, and we're going to transfer these guys over to his army so that we have 380 men, and then we're going to wipe this thing out right here. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what it does. It reduces my mana by 20%. So we don't want this thing to exist. When our army arrives on this side, you're going to see combat for the first time, and combat as it stands right now is fairly simple. It's real time. It's going to line up. There's going to be a preparation phase. Then there's going to be a number of other decisions that you can make as you go through. If we go to manual control of the battle, yeah, dude, we could do that. Let's take care of it. I actually didn't even notice the little manual control up there. We ended up winning the fight right there, and so they lost 79 units. I don't know how many we lost in the final throwdown. But we do get a synopsis over this side once the tower is destroyed. He's leveled up, which is nice. We killed 46 units. How many units did we lose, though? We lost 13 units, which isn't that bad. We kind of like swept him, dude. The other thing that we'll probably want to do is, what is that thing right there? Plus 500 mana. Okay, well, let's see to securing our borders first. I'm going to spend 2,000 mana to build a wall around this territory so that the enemy has to destroy our wall before they can get in to destroy our cities. Then on this side, with both of these little places, I'm going to build an abode over here. I'm going to kind of specialize this entire area on producing population. So there it is. And you can see them getting built up over on this side. There is a graphical change as you fiddle with your villages and make them nicer. Go grab that omnipresence over there. And then you... There's our wall. All right, so we now have a wall around our territory that the enemy has to contend with. They have to fight, so we have 500 guys inside of here. We get 1 soldier of each type every single day based on the races that we chose. But they're going to have to fight at the wall out here, and if you have a wall, all units inside the capital count as fighting on the wall from what I've seen so far. And they get like fat defensive bonuses and fat HP bonuses that make them a lot harder to kill during the auto battle thing that transpires. I'm going to have this army come up and mop this guy because we can get a Shrine of Leadership, which will increase this guy's stats. We did level up from that last battle. You get skill points whenever you level up, and you can put them into various attributes that make you stronger. I'm going to even out his defensive warfare so that we're a little bit more squared away along that front. And then I think I'll probably put a few points into leadership. That way, we end up having better morale, I guess, when we go into combat. But there are other things like terrain lore. Terrain lore allows you to move around the map faster. Oh, we're fighting over here. Okay, into battle we go. So we're in the preparation phase right now. And it's commencing in 1 second. And the enemy actually just got swept off the map because they were so much smaller than us. We didn't have to pick a strategy or anything. And so I'm going to go get this shrine on this side, and this should boost up my perception, I think. Yeah, I think it'll make my perception go up a little bit higher, which governs our resistance to spells that other factions are going to be throwing at us. It also means that it gives us detection, so the enemy can try to hide in the woods and ambush us, and they can set that up. Your terrain lore is basically how good you are at ambushing, and perception is how good you are at seeing through ambushes, and that's just a straight comparison between those two stats, which means that if you want to ambush people successfully, you want a ton of points in terrain lore so that the enemy's perception can't possibly overcome it. Whereas if you're not planning on using the ambush strategy very much, you're going to want to put a lot of points in just perception to stop yourself from being ambushed and giving the enemy a whole bunch of bonuses. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to focus this guy on fighting. He's going to be our dude that sort of sallies out to go fight with the enemy. And now that we've got this bad boy right here, we should be in pretty decent shape. Is there anything else that I can grab around here? I can grab this city, so let's go invade them real fast. It says that their army is small by comparison to ours, and so I feel like that's a reasonably decent idea. And in the meantime, I don't know if I can pre-capture this stuff out here. Yeah, it looks like it's not targetable for right now, so we're not really going to be able to do anything. Is it targetable? It's kind of hard to say. It doesn't swap into a sword, but just keep grabbing things off the ground to make our mana a little bit stronger. Over here, I'm going to boost up my mana generation per day. So I have one city that's specialized in population, and I have another city that's specialized in just giving me fat stacks of mana so that I can bomb out the enemy. If you wanted to see what that looks like, I'll cast a fireball spell a couple times on this dude right here. There you go. I'll put 3 fireballs on him because it's cheap for me to fireball people anyways, and so I don't think it's going to matter. We've got 358 of our units against 250 of theirs. They're not getting any defensive bonus because they don't have any walls or anything else that are around here, so we should be okay. And as you can see, each army has a little health bar that represents their total population, and our combats are going very quickly right now just due to the fact that I have leadership points. So are we converting this place right now? I want to convert this place. We are. So we've got them 5% converted right now. We're just going to have to wait for the rest of it. Fireballs, they have to be charged up, and so you're basically lowering your daily mana gain to charge these spells up. So don't try to fire a fireball under duress, expecting it to happen right that second. Instead, do it early as you see the enemy marching towards you so that right as they get there, it goes right there. So he lost 20 units right there. I wonder if I can just completely bomb him off that point. You come over here. Our army sizes are similar, but after this third fireball, I think we should be okay. Do we have another fireball going out? Let's boost up this army a little bit. I'm going to bring him back to our territory because I want him to get some combat. Because this guy's stuck in place converting this territory anyways. So kind of is what it is for the moment. I will speed up the game ever so slightly so that they get there quicker. I would like to conquer this territory too before the enemy starts getting saucy because they will go on the warpath and try to conquer all of your territories. Other things that we need to be aware of, there is a research screen over here where you can lower the daily amount of mana that you're getting in order to learn this stuff. And so I do think it would be a good idea for us to learn Spell Ward. That way we can put a magic bubble around our heroes if we're getting bombed out super hard. And you can queue this stuff up if you get more slots. There we go. And so I'll have Fireball in the second slot. And so that should add to our knowledge of the spell. As far as I can tell, I think the spell gets stronger the more knowledge of it you have. This is effectively kind of leveling up our spell. But I wouldn't sign any paperwork saying that I know that's what it means. I might get pulled up on perjury charges. For right now, though, let's turn the game back on, and I'll cut it back in once we have something interesting happening. Actually, I needed to recruit with this guy. How many units do we have in waiting? 206, and we've already got 166 inside the garrison, so that's good too. Let's go ahead and what's my loyalty at and all of my outstanding territories? 100%. Cool. Raise an army. There we go. They're going to be a little bit upset with me, but this guy needs an army to call his own. What kind of warlord doesn't have an army? There we go. So he's got 475. However, there's no units inside this army that protect him from assassins. Did you level up again? You did. My man leveling up like crazy. Okay, let's get 15 in that, 15 in that, and then we'll take a little bit of terrain lore to help him move around a little bit quicker on the map so that he's at 12% movement speed. Let's start leveling up this guy by wiping out just little neutral packs artifacts that are around. This mana pool will give us plus 500 mana, which will be nice. I'd definitely like to have that. These places over here have already had their arcane towers built, so we should be in good shape. This place over here, I would recommend building a wall around all of our territories. I don't feel safe until I'm fully walled in. I'm trying to build like the Great Wall of China out here and have myself covered from every single angle. Do we have any visual? Oh, he's coming out to fight us right now. Okay. Well, you come down this way, and let's start bombing him out with fireballs. Give me just a bunch of fireballs on this dude, because it looks like he's rocking into my territory right now, and that's a problem. So if we can queue up a whole bunch of fireballs to just be dropped on this dude, he does have a lot more units than we do, and so you ride out and go face off with him. I may have to break off my capture of that territory in order to help out over here, but it's kind of hard to say. We are fighting along the walls, though. Depends how quickly he manages to get over here and reinforce that position. Is he retreating right now? He is. He saw my army coming and he retreated. It's okay. He's going to eat some fireball before it gets a little bit better for him. He's going to lose like 80 or 90 units before this gets any better for him. So a few more fireballs went out. That's good. He's marching up this way, which is all kinds of no bueno. Is he capturing that territory right there? He is. Okay, so I need to reinforce this over here. Oh, he destroyed my garrison. Okay. Well, let's summon a new one real fast. So 750. Yeah, let's make sure that our garrisons are nice and squared away with the mana that we have on deck, I think. There we go. And so our new garrison has like 1,000 men. That should be good enough, I think. I don't know what the maximum population is of the garrison. It looks like it's 6,000. And so just keep smashing that upwards until we feel like we've been successful. We're not actually getting as many garrisons now. It says it summons 250, but it started out at 750, and so I guess that's just the way that it goes. With you guys' army, come up here and fight with this guy. We have captured this territory, which is very, very bueno for us, because it's going to increase the rate at which we're generating units over here for, like, our backup, and when we go to recruit, it means we'll get a lot more units. But we need to capture these outlying villages, too, before we do anything else. What's our population looking like in a lot of these places? So they're sitting at a population of 2,200 right now, which is good. I'll probably send this guy, after he mops up these dudes, I'll probably send him over this way to deal with just the neutrals over on this side so that we can capture that. And that looks like it gives him charisma, so that'll be good. Keep morale nice and high for our units. Did you capture that already? What's the... Oh, we're only at 26% right now. Okay, getting his stats up. I think there's certain things that make him convert faster, too. I don't remember what stat specifically does it, but I think there's a stat that makes it so that... Yeah, you influence populations faster, and it gives you some of the enemy's units whenever you win a battle. He did win this fight over here, which has allowed him to level up a little bit. He's got a lot of offensive warfare. Let's give him a little defensive warfare, and then he is really susceptible to ambushes. So let's start pushing up his perception. He's also really, really weak to anything that has to do with magic spells, and so I'd rather not deal with that. 500 mana back in. You go capture, actually get the 100 population for these people over here, and then we'll pull back over this way and capture that little village, because I feel fairly solid on this garrison over here. Continue making this garrison a little bit gnarlier. Now that we've captured this, go ahead and build me a wall on that side. These guys have already been specialized. You can upgrade the wall multiple times, by the way, so if you wanted to have an even nicer wall, you can do that. And so, like, we can upgrade this to level 2, which means that all of our units garrisoned inside of here, they now have an extra 100% HP for the purposes of the auto calculation whenever we go into battle. I do sort of wish that the game actually let you fight in field battles. Like, I would like the game a lot better if you were allowed to do that, like kind of Total War style. But I don't know if they're planning on sticking with this combat system, or if it's just like a thing that they've put in the game as a placeholder for like their Kickstarter run. I don't know. I need to capture this city over here, too. How loyal are these guys? They're at 79%. That'll do, pig. That'll do. You come down here, and we're going to have you fill up your army real fast. I'm going to start by... I got 200 recruits waiting in the wings as soon as the walls are done upgrading. I also wished that the walls were contiguous. Like, if your territories overlap like this, all of these inner walls should just kind of go away, and then these should connect along the outer edge. But I'm guessing that that's going to be one of those polished things that we're going to see later on down the line with this title. Not necessarily right now. Let's take this army for a minute. We're going to take him on a grand tour of just wiping out neutrals and possibly invading other territories. All I have right now are armies that are cruising around doing their thing. Go ahead and raise the levies. There we go. That's good. And then now that the levies have been raised, let's transfer them over to this army. That way we've got like a solid 700 guys inside this army, and so that'll work out pretty well. And your invasion is going to be, I know that they're going to come in from the west and try to attack me here. Like, I know they're going to try it, and I'm going to be way too isolated to do anything else. There are other systems in the game that I haven't been able to play around with just yet. There's artifact smithing over here. We have to get, like, gems or something. I don't know exactly how to do it, but you can like make your own, you can use your mana to like forge your own weapons and stuff that you can put on your characters. I haven't played around with the system a whole lot yet, but like it's one of those things that I would like to play around with. Since we have 5,000 mana, let's continue. Actually, let's give them a fiery tower. That sounds good. Give them a fiery tower. We can build a tower over here that just auto-fires at anything that's approaching us. And I found that the AI seems to be really afraid of it. You guys just keep your tactics nice and balanced. Take over the city, and then we'll see if we can actually get our influence up. You are responsible for just killing neutrals and getting stat boosts and leveling yourself up, too. Did he level up from that fight? I do not think that he did. Okay. That's fine. The second battle has been joined over on this side. They actually had 500 guys over here. I didn't expect them to have an army that large. Not good. I didn't want to lose that many units, but like I think we're going to have to lose that many units. I'm trying to consolidate territory right now because the early part of the game, as with most of these little strategy titles, tends to be just like an all-out race to see who can capture everything. And so I'm getting the building right. I want you, selectivity, man. I'm trying to select my avatar right now. You know what? I'm just going to click on the sidebar, and you go capture that so that I have a little bit more mana, and then come down here and deal with this guy as well. You did get some level ups, so let's apply those. Let's take you up to 20 offensive warfare and 19 defensive warfare. That way you're getting an attack power bonus, and you can see that attack power bonus being calculated down here. So you'll see that we only have like 450 units or like 500 units or whatever, but we have 765 attack power. That's largely due to his stat bonuses that he's giving his army. This guy also leveled up. Let's give him a little bit faster of conversion, in all fairness. That sounds good. Like, I'd like to influence colonies a little bit faster. Like, I'd like to see this number go up a little bit quicker where available. Let's grab him, and then we'll grab this shrine over here, which is going to boost his leadership by 3. And we have a watchtower over on this side, but it has an overwhelming garrison. And so I don't think we're going to be able to push out any further. You come over here, and we'll get started with, like, capturing some of these villages while we wake that up. No armies coming in from our west, which is good. It looks like that is open to being captured, I think, but he's got a hero over there as well who's just like camped out blocking off our egress through that area. All right, did I ever upgrade you guys with anything? Let's get a garrison over here, and then we will also get an abode over on that side. The garrison's going to make it so that we get an extra unit every single day. We get one of each unit that we have unlocked every single day inside of our throne. We should get 2 once that's built, which will be nice. You leveled up again, my man? That's what I'm talking about. Let's give you some terrain lore. That way you move a little bit faster so that we can more rapidly adapt to, like, unfolding strategic situations. Are there dead guys laying on the ground right there? Oh, there are, dude. There's little dead guys laying on the ground. That's kind of cool. That's a 65% conversion. Is this converting at all? Damn, leadership matters. This guy is like actually converting chunks of the population now each time that he does it. And really, since it's a game about time management, you got to stay on top of that. What's this guy got going on? He's coming on. I've got 1,500 men over here. Maybe like, I don't know, can I raise more soldiers? Yeah, raise some more soldiers real quick. That way we're a little bit better off. The Hadar Gate has 1,500 men, so unless he uses magic, we should be okay here. But I'm going to send this guy over just as like a backup plan, but it looks like we're winning right now. Yeah, it looks like we're holding. Oh, he destroyed the garrison? How did he destroy the garrison so easily? Huh. I guess he's just like farming my gatehouse right now for levels. That's what it looks like to me. Since he has 1,500 men, we're going to have to come up to parity with that too. Like, I don't see any other like hard and saucy way around it. He's captured that village, so come over here and capture this village. This village is going to get a barracks. That way we recruit guys a little bit faster. I think one of my researches is concluding shortly. Yeah, we got that up to level 1. I did want to get the evolution of my soldiers over here so that my Hadun Corps, you can actually upgrade these units. And so we can also get Wudin evolutions over here if we had the mana to do so. But he should be done pretty quickly, I think. It looks like he's moving pretty rapidly. We're already at like 42% of the knowledge that we need to take those up to level 2 Berserkers. And so that'll be nice. Let me come back over to the throne over here now that we've converted everything. I can take out the watchtower with this army if I desired to do so, but I am kind of worried about the fact that the enemy has, like, a lot of you. He's got, like, 1,500 units. Oh, nice. I can actually upgrade these settlements, too. Okay, well, let's upgrade the settlement. I've never upgraded a settlement before, so, like, I want to see what happens when I do that. So transform your army units. We need to transform 500 units. Well, I'm working on the research that'll let me transform units. You can click on these little guys, and they've got little buttons up here, and so you can upgrade them to the next tier if you wanted to. So he could become Hadun Corps, or they could become Unmanars, I guess. So we can actually convert them into humans, I suppose, too. Okay, so there's like an adjacency in between these armies as well. Sort of curious if we can take him out. Let's harass him a little bit. With just like some fireballs. Like, let's let him think about it for a second. Just queue up some fireball. Yeah, give me some fireballs on this dork. Like, I'm trying to, like, there we go. Just like make that, yeah, he disengaged quick once he caught a fireball, didn't he? All right. I got plenty. I got fireballs for everybody, dude. I'll sit around all day long. Fireball, 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 fireball. Our armies are growing like weeds right now, dude. We got armies everywhere. I will spend the 800 mana to get like a few more units, and let's go on expedition, dude. I'm trying to like strike out of my territory and cause some mayhem. So like, let's transfer some units over. There we go. Now we're sitting pretty. And this guy, I think we need these guys in the front. I think our Berserkers being in the front is what was making us open to Assassins. These guys say they get 200 defense versus Assassins, and when I moved them to the front of the formation inside this line right here, his attack power, like, doubled. And so I think I was doing that wrong the entire time. Like I said, still figuring stuff out. I'm going to send this army out to go attack this watchtower and just see what I get for a watchtower. But it does look like he's captured pretty much all the territory all around me. And that's something that we are going to have to contend with. I don't see a lot of ways around it. Our power score is way below the AIs. I don't know how they're getting so much omnipresence, but we need to get some omnipresence. That's what we really need. But then again, I haven't really figured out how to generate this stuff yet. Like, you do get some portion of it just for, like, the population that exists inside your game map, but other than that, it's mostly just picking up little omnipresence piles from around the map that I've seen so far. Let's march on this place and see what we get for winning. Both of these armies are way below, like, what we have. We have, like, 1,300 men, so, like, I feel like we'll be in a pretty good place. And we've almost got our upgraded evolution, too, which will be nice. Fireball's still researching. It's going to take forever, but, like, eh. Oh, they only have 500 guys down here, dude. We're going to, like, sweep them. Just go aggressive. So we can claim the watchtower in 14 days. No indication, though, what that watchtower is going to do for me. Let's give him a little bit more terrain lore. We'll even out his defensive warfare, and then we'll give him, like, a little bonus to offensive warfare. We also have, like, these little things over here. I haven't, like, played around with it yet. It appears as though there's, like, stubs and placeholders of something that resembles... Oh, my God, he marched right into my territory. What a dick. Don't do that. Where are you at? You march in here, dude. He marched right past my army and didn't even care. He's gonna lose. Like, I don't know why he's doing this, but, like... Huh. He defeated like 1,200 of my garrison guys. All right, well then I'm just going to have to admit flatly that I don't understand exactly what we had going on here. It looks like he is retreating now, though. So I think he was just trying to cause headaches. I'm not really too sure. What I'm really getting the vibe of is that garrisons are not actually that good. I think garrisons are probably kind of like militia. They're just not that strong, which means having the neighbor who's currently the top player, we probably want to start just like bolstering up everything that we can do in order to defend our territory. The good news is he doesn't have a crossing over here, so he can't like strike around my lines. Like, we should be okay. I had to break off my tower capture, too, which I'm very, very upset. I'm not happy about breaking off my tower capture. I'm going to see if I can follow this guy up and mess him up real fast, but, like, I need to let my recruitment tick upwards for a little while. But this is Atre, or Atre, or Ater. I don't really know how to say the word. But I think it's kind of interesting, dude. Like, it's almost like a grand strategy RPG with, like, slice and chunk capturing, almost like hex-based gameplay if you wanted to conceptualize it down to that level. I think it's interesting. I don't know if I'm totally on board with it yet because the demo that we're seeing right now is missing, like, a lot of kind of the graphical accompaniment and everything else. I will say that I'm not a huge fan of the battles so far. Like, I feel like the battles need more stuff involved with them, like more human interaction basically that determines the outcome instead of just slamming your armies together like Hot Wheels toys and going like, you know, which is kind of how the battle feels for me right now. But I do like the research. I do think that like being able to like create these artifacts and things is kind of like a super interesting thing as well, even though I haven't really had too much of a chance to play around with it just yet. But like, if I forge that thing, do I get it right now? Like, is that like an instantaneous thing that takes place? Oh, it takes time. Okay, so like we're making 2 artifacts right now. Good to know. All right, are there any further upgrades that I can do over here? I can upgrade my, upgrade a little bit more over here so that I'm getting more recruitment pool. It's very, very expensive to take those up to level 2, but like, I'm down with it. Can I afford to take anything else up to like level 2 or like raise garrisons or anything else? You guys should yeah, they only have like 10 attack power. I was failing to notice that these little Hadar spirits over here are like garbo. Maybe they need something to hide behind. It looks like their attack power is being nerfed by the fact. So like, let's try moving these. So if I move you over to there, they're not defended by assassins. Okay. I was able to convert my guys into new units over here. So we've got Hadar cores and Hadun cores now, which hopefully are a little bit stronger than what we had. Yeah, it does look like they're quite a bit better. I just upgraded this garrison over here into these little spirit cores because I guess the militia guys, they convert into upgraded versions of the militia guys before they turn into anything else. So that's kind of cool. If I wanted to convert these guys right here, what do they become? Just nastier, gnarlier demons? Okay. And these guys are going to need to be protected by, like, garrisons over here and stuff like that, too. Gotcha. So if I convert these dudes, my attack power is going way, way, way up. Like, my army strength way higher after converting those guys over. And so interesting stuff, dude. I'll keep an eye on it. Like, it's intriguing, but I want to see what the final product looks like. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were playing Ater. Tomorrow we'll be playing something else. Thanks for hanging out with me. That's about all I got for you, folks, and I will catch you all next time.